Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy, Boulan J, and up next on the GM, State of the Ravens. Do me a quick favor as we get started. Hit like. If it is your first time checking out the GM, hit subscribe. Also, hit the notification bell so that you get updates when we upload new content. Let's talk about it. I believe that the Baltimore Ravens are in a critical state as they're entering week 10 against the Cleveland Browns. And not just because they're facing the Browns, but because over the next 7 days, basically 2 games in the next four, by the time next Sunday comes, we could be either at the top of the AFC North or at the very bottom of the AFC North. We could be at the top of the AFC playoff seeding or we could be out of the AFC playoff seeding. That's why I call the state of the Ravens critical. You see, I'm one that believes that division games are like 2 games in one because they have two levels of impact in division and also in the conference. You see, every AFC North team right now is in the playoffs, which means we occupy four of the seven playoff spots. So we're in the number 2 seed as the Ravens, and then Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati would occupy 5, 6, and 7. I don't know which order that's in, but they will occupy 5, 6, and 7. With a loss to the Cleveland Browns, we actually fall out of the number 2 seed. Cleveland would go there, and then we would fall behind Pittsburgh, possibly to the number 6 seed. With a loss to the Cincinnati Bengals, we could fall out of the playoff race by the end of week 11. That's why I call it critical. I believe that these are both must-win games. Must win because of the impact that they could have on the Baltimore Ravens. I think that they are winnable for sure. Why? Because we've already beat both these teams, and we beat both these teams basically convincingly. Yeah, I know that in week number 2, the Bengals pulled to, I think, 24-21, but we had that game sealed up before they scored that last touchdown. And then also in week number 4, when we played the Cleveland Browns, we won that game pretty handily, but on the scoreboard, it was a good distance between. But in actual play, we actually were a lot closer, or maybe say it this way: Cleveland was a lot closer to us than the scoreboard would indicate. And so I think all the participants in week 10 and in week 11 are different teams. The Baltimore Ravens are not the same team we were in week 2 or week 4. The Cleveland Browns are not the same team we played in week 4. And the Bengals are not the same team. When we played Cleveland in week number 4, we played them without Deshaun Watson. Would he have made an impact in that game? He certainly would have. Okay. The Cincinnati Bengals, they were struggling and stumbling and falling all over themselves in week number 2. They have corrected some things and they're looking a lot better. And so all the participants in week 10 and week 11 are different teams. I think that our defense is right on par with Cleveland's defense. We may be better in some areas. They may be better in some areas for sure. But I think we're right on par with the Cleveland's defense. So we bring a good squad to the field. I think our offense is better than Cleveland's and right on par with Cincinnati's. And when I say right on par with Cincinnati's, I'm not talking about what we saw in week 2. I'm talking about what we've seen of Cincinnati lately. We could even be a little better than Cincinnati, but I'm not going to put us up too high. I'm not going to put us down too low because the truth is, when we play in the division, there's nothing we have up our sleeves that's going to show them something that they don't already know about. Uh, we've been playing this squad for Cleveland uh, with basically a similar roster over the last couple of years. We've been playing the Bengals with the same or similar roster over the last couple of years. And so there's nothing we're going to have for them that they haven't seen or that they don't expect. The only thing that we have different in week number 10 is going to be more consistency in, um, the offensive play calling. There seems to be more of a flow. more of an evenness with Todd Monken's play calling. There seems to be better execution, although we still need to clean up those turnovers. When we're just putting the ball on the ground, we have to clean that up. And then the other thing is the real mystery is Keaton Mitchell. I don't expect Keaton Mitchell to come out and do 138 this week, but Keaton Mitchell is an element or a mystery that Cleveland has not seen, nor has Cincinnati seen as it pertains to with us on the field. You can watch film and watch what he did last week, but you don't know what his speed feels like in real time until you actually experience it. So that's the only mystery we're bringing to the table. Okay. Um, the Ravens know Deshaun Watson. We knew Deshaun Watson when he played in Houston, and we know Deshaun Watson when he plays in Cleveland, right? Because he's the same Deshaun Watson. He's not just going to come out and throw the ball over your head for 400 yards. That's not his game. He's going to scramble around in the pocket. He's going to elude the rush. He's going to throw the ball. He's going to make some plays. He's going to scamper and scramble with his feet. On occasion. That's who he is. That's who he was in Houston. That's who he is now. We know who Joe Burrow is. His goal is to stay in the pocket and deliver the ball to his wide receiving group. So there's nothing that we're gonna show them. There's nothing they're gonna show us that we shouldn't be expecting. And so I think that it's gonna be strap up, put your helmet on tight, lace your cleats up tight, put your pads on a little extra tighter, and perform. I don't think weather will be a factor in game 10 or 11 for the Ravens. We have home field advantage. I think the crowd will be loud. I think the crowd will be super rowdy. We are on national TV today. We're on national TV on Thursday. And so both games are going to have similar elements. We have familiar foes, and I don't expect the Baltimore to do anything but what we've seen them do over the last 3 weeks. Be more consistent, uh, be more disciplined, and play rock solid defense and play complementary offense. I think the offense is still, developing chemistry. They have chemistry, but I think they're still going to be developing it. I think the offense is still finding personnel groupings that highlight certain player skill sets. And so I think that as we find ourselves over the next 3 weeks until we get into a bye week, I think that we certainly have an opportunity to keep blossoming and keep growing as a whole team. Um, the benefit to getting these next two wins in week 10 and week 11 is that we'll come out securely at the top of the AFC North. And I think we'll come out securely at the top of the AFC in that number two or possibly the number one seed, which is consistent. Listen to what I'm saying, which is consistent to what we've seen from the Baltimore Ravens led by Lamar Jackson over the last two seasons. These are games that just really look like, or position rather, this is position that we've been in consistently over the last 2 years under Lamar Jackson. And so it's not a surprise that we could be lurking in that number two seed at that AFC North. It's not a surprise that we are, positioned at the number one spot in the AFC um, division. And so I think that we're right on schedule. And now we have to do what we need to do and execute. That's going to be how we win these next two games. It's not going to be trickery. It's not going to be Lamar Jackson throwing for 400 yards. It's going to be execution. So whether that's execution means blocking and hitting the holes, whether that execution is catch what need to be caught, meaning if the ball is in your area code, if it hits your hands, catch it. If that execution means scoring in the red zone, if that execution means not turning the ball over, that's what we're going to have to see over the next two games to come out. If we get these next two wins, we actually are going to look like we have a bye week because it'll be almost 10 days before we play again. That's time for guys to get healed up, guys to get rested, guys to, refresh. And then I think we play week 12. I don't know who we play. And then we go week 13, which is bye week. So basically, if we can get through these next two games and we pull out 2 wins over basically the next month of football, we only play one game. And so I think that we can look real good if we do what we need to do against Cleveland and then turn around and do it again against the Bengals. But I think this is critical. All right. Last case in point is Lamar Jackson and the MVP. Um, all of the MVP projections have Mahomes 1, Hurts 2, and Lamar Jackson in third position. I believe that Lamar Jackson can make some moves up that chart by winning these next two games. But it can't be the type of games where he has 200 yards, 1 touchdown, um, and 50 yards rushing. These need to be dynamic performances. I'm talking about 250 to 280 passing, 2 or 3 touchdowns, and no turnovers. It needs to be those kind of performances which secure us the top of the AFC North and keep us positioned right there with the Chiefs in the overall AFC conference. It can't be hum ho performances. It has to be dynamic elite level performances. I'm not talking about 100 yards rushing. If he has 100 yards, wonderful. But I'm talking about passing the ball. I don't think this is going to be the season where the MVP is won by statistics alone because Tua Tagovailoa has a 6-3 team or something like that, and he has better numbers in passing and touchdowns than Mahomes, Hurts, or Lamar, but he's not in those top three. So I don't think it's just going to be statistics. I think it's going to be seeding. I think it's going to be who you beat, and I think it's going to be how you perform when you beat them. So those are my thoughts, man. Let me know what you guys want me to know. Do you guys think Lamar Jackson can get into the MVP position over these next couple of weeks, game 10, game 11, or week 10, week 11? And do you think that the Baltimore Ravens are in a critical state with two AFC North Division games on tap today and Thursday? I'm your guy Boulanger, and I'm out.